Today we're going to talk about what happens when you get a good night's sleep and also what can happen to your brain and your body when you don't get a good night's sleep. Hey everybody, Chad Cruiser here with Health and Homestead. Let's start off with sleep and school grades. Researchers took 100 college students in a chemistry class and gave them activity trackers that would track their sleep patterns. And they found that students who had more consistent long nights of quality sleep predicted about 25% increase of their academic performance. They found that simply sleeping well the night before a test did not have a major impact, but rather having consistent, habitual, quality sleep enhanced their grades in college. Now I know you might think, well, I need to stay up all night to study all the time, but it seems as if in fact going to bed earlier, getting your studies done earlier will actually help you have a better grade point average. So what about memory and sleep? Research in the journal Nature reported on a study of nearly 8,000 people. They followed them for 25 years, looking at the sleep duration of the people beginning in their 50s and 60s. Now, they found that those who sleep less than 6 hours a night on average increase their risk of dementia by 30% later in life compared to those who slept at least 7 hours. So the question is, why might this be? Well, it turns out that deep sleep, when we are not dreaming, is the time when the brain is most efficiently cleaning out debris from the brain. Specifically, research has shown amyloid beta, which is thought to be one of the factors for Alzheimer's, is better filtered from the brains while we sleep. So what this means is not getting enough sleep is detrimental to our grades in school, but it also may be detrimental to our brains later on in life. Now, what impact does it have on our strength? Research on over 10,000 students found that male students who slept 7 to 8 hours had a stronger hand grip than those who slept less than 6 hours. So you might be thinking, why were the people who didn't get enough sleep weaker? In a separate study, researchers took 7 males and 6 females and deprived them of sleep for an entire night. It turned out that one night without sleep lowered levels of testosterone by about 24%. It also increased the stress hormone called cortisol by 21%. So this reveals that staying up late may make a man a little bit less manly. It also lowered protein synthesis by 18%. Now, protein synthesis is the process that our body uses to rebuild muscle from amino acids after exercise. So not getting enough sleep. So if you're trying to work out and trying to be healthy, but not sleeping enough, this is going to have a detrimental impact on your ability to increase muscle mass. The National Sleep Foundation has found that the average American is sleeping 6.8 hours per night, which is 1.5 hours less than 100 years ago. In the Alameda County Health Study, where nearly 7,000 people were followed for 9 years, it was found that those who slept 7 to 8 hours a night had the lowest levels of heart disease, strokes, and all-cause mortality. A study was conducted taking 11 young men and causing them to only have 4 hours of sleep for 4 nights, and then having multiple nights in a row where they would sleep as long as they chose. While sleep deprived, there was a disruption of the blood glucose regulation, and another study found that sleep deprivation can cause what's called insulin resistance. What is insulin resistance? To give you a little idea, this right here, this kind of feather-shaped thing in our illustration doesn't actually look like a feather, but in this illustration it does. Just behind the stomach is called the pancreas. Now, the pancreas produces something called insulin, which is like a key to open up our muscle cells, our liver cells, and so forth. And so here is a video. Now, if you notice these 5 pointed stars in our illustration here, these are insulin, and it's going to the cell like a muscle cell. And once it goes to the cell in a normal, healthy person, after you've eaten a meal that has some carbohydrates, the blood sugar will begin to increase. And as the insulin connects to the insulin receptor, this allows this ball in our illustration, which is sugar, to be able to enter in and give energy to the cells. Now, this is the way a healthy cell would be functioning. But what happens when we have insulin resistance? In the case of somebody having insulin resistance, notice that we also have this insulin coming, and it tries to connect with the muscle cell, but it is not able to, and as a result it is insulin resistant, and this may keep the sugar, the glucose, from entering into the cell and depriving you of energy and also giving you high blood sugar. And evidently not sleeping enough at night can make you more prone to not receiving the glucose into your cells, not receiving the energy into your cells, and that's why you're so tired, because your cells can't receive the energy that they need. And this might also have a second problem in the long run, looking at sleep and type 2 diabetes. In the Massachusetts Male Aging Study, they followed men for 15 years and found that those who slept 6 hours or less nightly had twice the likelihood of coming down with type 2 diabetes compared with those who slept more than 8 hours. So not only will this potentially make you more tired the day of, but in the long run, this may set the stage for type 2 diabetes. This next one I find absolutely incredible. What about personality and sleep? Research reported in the journal Health Psychology has found that poor sleep can negatively impact your personality. And they looked at 4 studies with people ranging from age 30 to age 107. The studies found that poor sleep quality lowers levels of extroversion, agreeableness, and also negatively impacted the people's conscientiousness. So it may make it so that you struggle being social. And I know this to be true because I travel the world, and overseas I've gone to 12 time zone changes, and I get there, and for the first couple of days I'm so tired because of jet lag that my personality is totally flat. Then after a few days you begin to just become like your former self, and you're able to interact with people without all the stress. But notice that people who don't sleep as much are also less conscientious. So this may mean that it makes us more prone to do immoral things that we know to be wrong. So getting a good night's sleep is very important. So what about sleep and neurological issues? Night owls increase their chances of neurological disorders by 25%. So that is significant. Now, this also may be causing gut issues. Those who consider themselves to be night people increase their chances of having gastrointestinal or abdominal disorders by 23%. Now, you may know that our gut, our intestines, that is where the majority of our immune function comes from. Somewhere between 2/3 to 70% of our immune system actually resides in the gut. Now, thinking about this, how could sleep impact this? Sleep on immune function. A study was conducted on people who were used to going to bed at 10 p.m. They, for one night, went to bed at 3 a.m. Researchers discovered the next morning the immune function of these individuals had dropped by approximately 50%. So if you want a healthy, functioning immune system, have regular, early nights of sleep. Going further, looking at lung issues. Being a night owl increased chances of having a respiratory disorder by 22%. A good night's sleep, not only all of this, it helps you to focus better in general, and it helps you simply to be a happier person. So the question is, how do we get better nights of sleep? Well, I have actually made some videos on that. Right over here, we're gonna have some videos that I've done in the past on the impact of sleep on your depression, and also how to fall asleep better. So check these out right over here. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notifications. God bless and have a fantastic day.